Bill McIntosh teaches AI non-stop. Success is his game, marketing's his fame. McIntosh, the marketing ace, follow his lead to the winning place with AI and a killer spin. Join him now, learn to win. Learn his way, don't delay. If you do, you'll make your fortune today.
All right. So hello and welcome to the show. Of course, this is a show all about how I can help you create, grow, and scale new businesses as an entrepreneur. And of course, I'm your host, Bill McIntosh. And over the years, I've been able to build multiple successful businesses using internet marketing and digital technologies. And now it's my mission in life to bring that success to you. And over the years, over 20 years now, I've been able to generate over $100 million in revenue across all my businesses over the years. And this is all about how I can take that hard-won knowledge and experience and bring it to you so that you can maybe start your first business ever online, or if you've already got a business, scale it up to new heights. So do me a favor, pop into the chat and say hello or howdy. Give me a big old howdy. And let's just see. Okay, I got to see some of our regulars here. Actually, maybe a couple new faces as well. And it looks like, let me just check. I want to see if my notification email of inviting everybody to come to the show went out today. Let's just see what happened here. Okay, it says it was sent. Okay, well, odd. For some reason, it might not be, that email may not be doing well. All right, well, anyway, regardless, it was sent. Everybody was invited, and I want to welcome you to the show. So I'm glad you're here. And of course, we do this show every Wednesday at the same time. And this is where I can have live interaction with you. And I invite new people to come and meet me. But also, I have a lot of old friends who are here as well, including several customers. In fact, I see a bunch of my PushButton AI customers, people that own our software and is part of our early access program and that product. See several of you here. Give me a shout out. Who's a PushButton AI user? Give me a big old me in the chat if you are someone who is a PushButton AI client or customer. Give me a big me if that's you in the chat. I just want to see who here is a customer. Okay, now Regina says, I love PushButton AI. Okay, awesome. Cool. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, this is great. I see a lot of customers here. So thank you for chiming in the chat. What we do on this show is it's all about strategy, tactics, and a chance for me to help you in a live environment so you can ask me questions and I can help you with your businesses. Although there are several customers here, one of the things that we can't do while we're live is tech support or customer service. But anybody who is a customer that ever needs help with our products or services, with your account, tech support, whatever it might be, all you got to do is open up your email and send it to help@pushbutton.ai, and they will take good care of you. Awesome. And so today we have something pretty cool because I get a question asked of me quite a lot. And, I've been successful, as you heard, over $100 million in results, 20 plus years of doing this. And I think when someone who's brand new wants to start their first business, they hear that and it can be a little overwhelming. And so a question that I often get is, that's great and all, and you're showing us stuff of how to, grow businesses and make profit. But what if you did not have your big mailing list? What if you did not have all of your relationships and all the guru friends and all the 8 and 9 figure business owners who can help you? What if you didn't have all of that and you were starting over brand new from scratch with no list, no website, no traffic, no nothing, and I had to start completely over? Well, I'm going to give you the answer to that today. I get it asked a lot, and so on today's show, I will go through that. And not only will I go through it, I have a a deck with a bunch of really useful information on it that I'm going to share with you. So I'll walk through step by step exactly what I would do if I were starting over. In fact, this process, the step-by-step procedure and process I'm going to show you is exactly what I did to break into several markets where I had exactly this, where I can go into a new niche market where I don't have any relationships. I don't have a list. I don't have anything. I'm literally starting from zero. And this strategy I'm going to show you is exactly what I do each and every time I do that. So if something happened and all of a sudden all of my mailing lists were deleted and I had no websites and nothing to sell, what would I do? And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. Now, another beautiful thing about this strategy is it is focused around email a little bit, kind of, but not really. So I know a lot of people who follow me are very interested in how do you profit with email, whether that's with an email newsletter or an email subscriber list. And so that is going to be an important piece of the puzzle as we're going to go through this. And it would be, what would I do if I was starting with zero, no subscribers? And how would I build up and not only build a subscriber list, but build a big profitable business? So that is the agenda for today's show. And then, of course, I'm going to be taking your questions. So after I do my presentation and kind of share this training with you, then I'm going to kick it over to you where you can ask me anything. So you can ask me questions about the training or just in general about questions that you might want answered or things you might want help with to build and grow your business. And so that'll be our agenda today. And I think we also have some new people here. So if you're someone who is new to the channel, we are building a really cool community centered around this channel. And we're on a big drive right now to get to 10,000 subscribers, getting closer every day. Because at that point, we're going to build a whole community feature around the channel where all of the people who are following the channel can interact with each other, help one another, and we can do some cool stuff together. And that's when we hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you would like more content like this, entrepreneurial content, success content, if you want to learn how to build, grow, or start your first business, then you should subscribe. You're definitely going to want to subscribe because we release content every week, all throughout the week. Not only do I do this live show, but we're also releasing step-by-step trainings and tactics and reviews and updates and news about entrepreneurship. So if you're interested in that, then you'll want to look down below. You'll see that red subscribe button. Give it a tap and subscribe. Also, if at any point today you feel you get value, whether you're having fun just hanging out with me or you learn something new or you have one of those aha moments, then tap that like button. And it does really help the channel quite a lot when you do that. So with that, I think we're going to be diving into everything. And our tradition before we get into our content. We always do this. Of course, I've got producer Nick who helps me with all of these shows. He's in the background. And producer Nick, are you there?
Yes.
All right. So we have our tradition now. We're going to do the AI generated dad joke of the day, right? The first one of the day. And so producer Nick is going to rate it as a dad joke from 1 to 10. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it too. All right. Ready?
Yes.
Where does the computer go to get drunk?
I don't know.
The space bar.
I don't like that one that much.
Okay.
I'm not connecting computers to like space, you know?
Well, it's the space bar on the keyboard.
I know. That one did not land. That's like a 4.
That was a lot of silence. I delivered that one, and then the silence was painful. So what do you give that on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, what does it rank?
I hate to say this. That one's like a strong 3, like a 3.8.
Oh wow. Well, Cowboy Church is. We'll just call them Cowboy. Definitely disagrees with you. They gave that one a 9. So
I'm a harsh critic. I kind of feel bad about that.
No, it's the authentic dad joke feedback that comes from you.
Fred's more critical than I am.
Okay, Fred gave it a 2.5. Yeah. All right. Regina gives it a 7. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, we have mixed reviews. So either some people liked it, some people like you hated it. And all right, we'll do another one before we end the show later.
Okay. I think I'm like a negative influence on the audience because they used to get very strong ratings, and then their ratings started going lower and lower. And I think it's because I think it's because of my ratings. I think I'm.
You're fair. I think you're a fair critic. Yeah. All right. Well, next time the audience will get to rate it first, and then we'll get yours. How about that?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Angelo says, I give it an A for effort. Thank you. Okay. With that, we're going to get into today's content. And reminder for the audience, when I'm doing the content, I'm recording it so that we can give it to our content team. We have an editor who will be editing it up. And you may hear me, do retakes. You may hear me make notes for my editor, things like that. But just so those of you who are new to this with the live audience, just so you don't know, I'm not talking to myself and I'm not going crazy. So we're recording this and we're just kind of getting it packaged so that my team can use it. And sometimes we take the training that I do on these Wednesday shows and they get put into some of our courses. They get turned into blog posts. They end up being like smaller video packages that we'll re-release as content so that we reuse them quite a lot. And that's kind of part of my content strategy here is that we start with the live show and then it spreads out across all of my other channels as far as content goes. But the live show is where all of it originates from. So I'm glad to have you be part of that. And on that note, let's get started. I got to rearrange some windows and we will kick it off. All right. And I guess I'll lead with the email hook. Yeah, I think I'll lead with the email hook. I'm trying to think how to combine that email hook with the idea of what I would do if I was starting over. But let me give it a shot here. Okay. All right, here we go. Email is by far the #1 sales strategy. No kidding. You will fail if you don't embrace email marketing and succeed with it. And through 20 years of trial and here, hold on. My teleprompter just went haywire and here we go. Okay. Email marketing is by far the #1 sales strategy, and you will fail if you don't embrace it and succeed with it. And throughout the last 20 years of trial and error, I have built lists myself with a combined size of over 4 million subscribers across my different businesses, and we have generated over $100 million in revenue. I'll do it. Going to pick that up from the last of the line. And we have generated over $100 million in revenue using those mailing lists. But a big question I always get asked is, what would I do if I had to start over from scratch? What if I didn't have my 4 million subscribers? What if I didn't have all of the connections and contacts and websites and products, and I had to literally hit the reset button and start from zero? I would start with email. And I would like to show you step by step. I'll walk through all of the steps of exactly how I would get my first 100 subscribers and then how I would turn that tiny list into an 8-figure business. And I'll do it. I'll show you step by step exactly how to do it. And in this video, I will walk you through how I'd build the email list from scratch if I had to start over completely. Now, not only will I do this video training, so you're going to want to watch this video to the end with all of the steps, but I also have a deck that I can share with you. So I will give it to you for free, the deck that will go step by step on exactly how to use this strategy. All you have to do is subscribe to our free newsletter to get the deck. And it's going to go in writing step by step. It will show you everything I put in this video today. And just subscribe. All you got to do is head over to pushbutton.ai/subscribe. And I'll pop the link down in the description below so you can easily click it. But go to pushbutton.ai/subscribe, and I will give you all of the deck, all of the notes from this video, and all of the action items that you need to take. Okay. Now, I use this exact strategy already over and over again to go into new markets where I have no relationships, no lists, no products, no website, enter a new market and build it into a multi-million-dollar business. And an example, I've done this in markets where people usually think that only the gurus could succeed. And I come in from scratch with no experience in the market and break in. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the screen and we will get started. I'm going to go to that there. Oh, producer Nick, you might want to remove yourself. Okay. All right, and here we're going to get into it. So this is the deck. I will be sharing all of this with you when you subscribe. It's totally free. Just subscribe to our newsletter and you will get all of these slides. And as an example, some of these are pretty, like this one here is pretty revolutionary. What I'm going to cover in this one is very unique and very unconventional. And this one too, actually. So there's several strategies that I'm going to teach you today. This one right here and this one right here are very unique. And I don't think anyone else is really teaching these. So watch through to the end and I'll share all these slides with you. And yeah, so let's get started. Go into presentation mode. Oh, let's go back to the first slide. Okay. Now, as I said, email is by far the #1 sales strategy. Okay. And in today's world, the truth is, sure, you might break into and start up a business not using email. But if you don't embrace it and you don't use email to the fullest, your business is limited. You will not make as much money and you have potential to completely lose your business. When you have an email list, it is like an insurance policy that your business will continue to thrive even in times of hardship, difficulty. Let's say you get you have trouble with your ads that stop working, things like that. By having an email list, it's your insurance policy that you can keep going even through times of adversity. Okay. Now, in the make money kind of entrepreneurship, internet marketing community, I have a mailing list of about 500,000 people, but I have built lists over the years in a lot of different markets and have generated over 4 million subscribers across all those different markets. But again, today I'm going to show you what I would do if I had to start over. Okay. Now, before we get into that content, I want to really clear this up. This is very important because I think people, when they hear email marketing and they hear that of using email, they don't quite understand what I mean, and they have some preconceived ideas that get in their way. So let me just cover a couple quick myths about email. First up, most people will start and fail because they buy into these myths. #1, you need a big list to make money. Okay. So you hear me bragging here about my mailing list, right? I have lists of a pretty good size. I've had a lot of success building large mailing lists. And so I think that often lets people come to the conclusion that you need a big list in order to make money. Now, as an example, there's a case study here I want to show you from John Meese. He built a small list, just 249 subscribers. He did that over the course of 45 days, and he sold a course to them and brought in almost $11,000. So let's take a look at that. So this is courtesy of videofruit.com, did this case study, and they're walking through the strategy. Again, this link and all the resources I'll share with everybody who subscribes to our free newsletter. So you get all these links and our notes and the action items. But he goes into the list building system and method that he used. But the cool thing about it is the end result, which, as we talked about here, was almost $11,000 in sales in 45 days with a tiny little list. So you do not need to have a big list to succeed. And I've got one other strategy I'm going to show you at the end that goes into this. It's another person who had a 500-person mailing list, and there's something really cool that they did to make a fortune. So with a little tiny list. So we'll get into that in a minute. Email myth number 2. You've got to be some kind of an expert or a guru in order to be successful with email. Nothing could be further from the truth. You could be someone who knows nothing about your niche market, and you could go in and you could come in from a point of curiosity, of learning about that niche, learning about that market, and you share the journey. You share the stories and the journeys and the things you learn and the lessons that you encounter that add value to you. You just share that with your mailing list. That works fantastically. Another strategy, you could also come in and be what's called a curator, where all you do is collect up the useful information and share it with your audience. You know, I think this goes back a ways now when Oprah first built her empire. She started out, she was just a local news anchor, not any very particularly successful. She started a talk show, and what she was able to do is bring really smart and interesting people to her audience. She was not the guru. She was the gateway. She would bring the gurus to her audience, and they would then get to learn from those people. And Oprah built a multi-billion-dollar empire on just that simple concept. And you can do that too with your email list. Now, one thing that is really important, that's just an early step, that if I were starting over, if I were starting from scratch, I would want to make sure that I was in the right niche market, or niche, depending on niche, whichever the correct pronunciation is. And I do that with something called Ikigai. And Ikigai is a strategy from Japan. It goes back at least 1,000 years. It's a strategy that is used to kind of pick the perfect thing so that you can be fulfilled while making lots of money. And Ikigai is really simple. It breaks down into 4 questions that you ask yourself. And you'll want to do this first before you jump into a market you're not so sure you should be in. Now, I have a video on this. There's a video training on the channel where I go in great detail exactly how to use Ikigai to pick your niche market. I'll drop the link down in the description below so you can go watch that training. But basically, the quick answer to this is you ask yourself 4 questions. What do you love to do? Or what do you like? This could be what you like, what you love, what you enjoy learning about, what you're curious about. Then, what are you good at? This could be things that are unexpected to you. They could be things that people compliment you for, maybe because, you know, whether you fix stuff and someone gives you compliments about it, or an artwork that you put together and you get compliments for it. So you want to list that. You also want to figure out what does the world need? And there's some very specific steps to find out what the world needs. And there are some tools you can use to find that. And I cover that in the video. Again, the video is down below. It's in detail about how to use Ikigai to pick your right niche market. And then 4, what can you get paid for, right? And this one, again, there are some tools that you can use to find that out. I cover that in the video. But it is by blending these 4 things together is how you come up with the perfect niche market. Because often I see people that will jump in head first into a market that they love. There's some topic, some obscure thing, something that's interesting to them that they love, and then they try to start a business around it, and it fails. Well, that's because it's not something that the world needs, or it's something that the world's not willing to pay for. And then I've seen the opposite mistake, where they hear from some guru or some expert, I'll use air quotes, expert, who tells them, oh, crypto, that's the hot market. You need to go into crypto. So, and you go in and you start a whole business about cryptocurrency, but it's the wrong business for you because you could care less about it. And eventually it will fail. And it's when you blend all 4 of these things together, that's how you win. Okay, enough about that. Watch the video if you would like to learn more about it. Okay. So once I have chosen the niche market I'm going to go into, I do something called 10PGB. You might be wondering, what the heck is that? So this is something that, again, I also teach quite a lot about this on the channel, but the simplicity is we're looking for the 10 biggest, most impactful, most emotionally compelling problems, goals, and the benefits that someone's looking for in my niche market. Let me give you a simple example. I talk about the dog training niche a lot because I think it's a simple and easy one to understand. So what you might want to do is find out, what are the biggest problems people have in relationship to their dogs, right? What are the biggest goals they have in relationship to their dogs? Like, do they want a dog that goes on walks? Do they want a dog who's obedient? Do they want a dog who, is a good family member? Those are examples of goals. And then finally, the benefits, the end benefits of what they're looking for. So an example might be a peaceful household, or a harmonious household with a good relationship with your pet. That would be a benefit, right? So I identify the 10 biggest problems that my market is experiencing, the goals that they want to achieve, and the end benefits that they're looking for. Okay? And I make this into a list. Okay. And I did a complete masterclass on exactly how you can do this, and you can do it using AI, which makes it really, really simple. Another one, it's a training on the channel. I'll link down below so you can catch that training. It's a masterclass on exactly how you do this. But you absolutely must know this when you're jumping into a new market. Okay? If you jump in without, you just have some funny preconceived idea of what your product should be or what you think that the people need, then you're going to fail. You need to know what are their problems, what are their goals, what are the benefits, the end results that they are looking for in your market. When you know that, then you can succeed. Okay. So again, catch the training if you want more details about that. There's a link down below. It's a free training on the channel, but you'll need to have that list of those 10 problems, goals, and benefits. Step 3. Create what's called a lead magnet. Okay, now this is something that it's like bait. It's like, it's the bait that you would use to get someone to give you their email address. Okay, and you're gonna create a very simple website, and there are lots of tools, including my very own PushButton AI can do this for you. We can build your whole website and create your lead magnet for you. But you'll want a lead magnet, and you could use a lot of different tools, whether it's ClickFunnels or Groove or WordPress or whatever tools you use. You'll want to create a simple lead magnet with a one page that they can subscribe to your list from. Okay. Now, if I were starting over, what I would do as a lead magnet is I would do a course. I would give away a course that you can provide access to, give them some free training, and that would be my preferred #1 most recommended lead magnet. And that's actually something that can easily be done with AI here. And that's another video lesson on the channel right there. I know that guy, but he did some great training here about how you create the perfect lead magnet. All right. I'll link to that in the description below as well. Okay. Now, I like courses to give away for free to get leads because this allows you to build rapport with your audience. They become familiar with you. They begin to like you. They begin to see that you have some credibility, and you begin to build this with subscribers in a very unique way that most other lead magnets just can't do. They're the best way to build a strong relationship with new leads on your list. Because let's face it, there are a lot of throwaway lead magnets that just you download them. And I know there are ones that I've gotten that sounded exciting, and then I never even opened them. I signed up, grabbed them, never opened them, and then I forgot who sent them to me or where they came from. But when you do a course, the person not only joins your list to get that course, but they're going to engage with the course. They're going to remember you, and they're going to be great subscribers for you to make money from into the future. Make sense? Next, step 4. We're going to create a bunch of content. This is like articles, blog posts, other things like that, and we want to find and create lots of content that is going to help your new subscribers and your audience, right? Your whole broad audience in your niche market. You want to help them. Remember that 10 PGB step? That's what we're going to write content on. And you can use AI to do this, by the way. So AI can be incredibly helpful to build these pieces of content. And all we're going to do is we're going to create, it can be whether you do infographics, whether you do blog posts that you post on your blog. Maybe you can even do just a whole post on Twitter with the information, posting on Facebook. You can make videos if the video is something that you're comfortable with, but you want to put out lots of content and get it out there. And it must be designed to help them with the 10 biggest problems, goals, and the benefits that they're looking for in your market. It's got to absolutely be that. Okay, next. So we're going to find a growth channel, a channel that you can distribute content. So you're going to first be writing blog posts. That's probably the best way to get started, is to create blog posts, put them in your website. You know, if you have WordPress, it makes it really, really easy. Also, this is something that my PushButton AI software does automatically for you. It can automatically do all of your blogging and do these steps that I'm talking about now. But what I would do is I would first start with one channel. I prefer to start with my blog posts because blogs can be shared. You just take the link and you can share it on Facebook. You can share it on Twitter. You can share it all over the place. Now, and I would start getting really good on that one thing. So I would make my blogs, I would share them everywhere, and then I would start to focus on one single channel. And whether that's Facebook for you, like you have to focus on the channel that is good for you. And if you're comfortable with Facebook and you're having some wins with Facebook, then I would focus on growing your Facebook audience, right? And building more Facebook fans of your business page on Facebook. If you're someone who's comfortable on video, like I am, I would recommend doing a video, using video as your primary channel. And that could be long form content on YouTube like I'm doing now. LinkedIn can be a great place for if it's business oriented video content. If it's more mass market friendly, I would do short form content, and you could do that. That, of course, TikTok is the giant for short form content, but also YouTube has short form video, Twitter has short form video. And so I would find that one type of content that you really want to focus on and prioritize growing that one channel, okay? Step 6, amplify your content. This is something that nobody is doing, and let me tell you, it makes a huge difference, okay? I've got video training, again, on the channel that goes step by step on exactly how you do this. But what you'll want to do is just spend a tiny little bit of money. It can be as little as a couple of dollars a day, and you want to put ads promoting your content. Let me give you an example. My favorite way to do this is just take my link, share it on Facebook as a blog post, and run an ad on that share, on that post on Facebook. I spend a little money to promote it and kickstart it to try to get it to go, to get a little bit of viral organic growth. Or you could do the same thing on Twitter. You can take your URL, drop it in a share on Twitter, and pop an engagement ad on that post. And that helps to kickstart and get going and help you with your audience growth. And you can do it with it can be very inexpensive, with just a tiny little spend can be very helpful here, okay? And again, because we're starting from nothing. So if we're starting from nothing, we have no fans, no followers. This is also going to help kickstart that process, okay? So what I just outlined for you was how I got my first 1,000 subscribers. Sorry, fine. I'm going to repeat that. So note for the editor, we're going to reshoot that 1 second. The strategies that I've just shared with you, the steps we just went over, this is exactly how I have broken into niche markets. As an example, when I started, this was almost 12 years ago at the time of recording this, when I first got started in the internet marketing, market, the internet marketing niche market. I was not a known name. Nobody knew who I was. I did not have a mailing list. And I created a blog and I followed these steps. It's exactly what I did. And that's not the only niche market. So then I went on from that. I got established, almost a dozen years ago, maybe even a little more now. I did this exact process, and that's exactly how I got my first 5,000 subscribers. I then leveraged those 5,000 subscribers to build relationships, and I was able to make relationships with other people in the niche, and we started to promote each other, cross-promoting one another, because now I had a little bit of clout. I had a 5,000 person list that I built for free, cost me nothing. Now I use my list to then leverage to grow to the next level. And then from there, I now have over 500,000 subscribers in this niche market. So with over 500,000 subscribers in the niche market, I can basically out of thin air like that, create a new business and turn it into a multi-million-dollar business just using that mailing list. I've done it multiple times. So a list is valuable, and this is how you do it. So there you go. Couple of other things I want to cover. This is really important. And this was that other myth that we talked about at the beginning. And that is, how long do you have to wait? Yeah, the screen is being kind of weird. Okay. And that is, how long do you have to wait before you actually start making money? You know, you just heard me talk about, I built my first 5,000 subscribers for free. Does that mean you have to wait till you have 5,000 subscribers before you make money? Absolutely not. So you saw at the beginning, somebody who had just about 250 subscribers made 11 grand with those 250 subscribers. Here is another case study of somebody who built up a list about double that size. This is 500 subscribers. And just with a tiny 500 person list, they were able to launch a product and sell a $22,000 worth of sales. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is courtesy of First Class Founders, where they published this case study, and it's called The Art of Storytelling. And so how he went from broke to a 22,000 course launch and using a 500 person mailing list. So, and this walks through his success in doing that, how he did it. Again, I'll give you the show notes, all the links, all the details of this when you subscribe to our free newsletter. Yeah, just go to pushbutton.ai/subscribe. And in there, you'll have access to all of our show notes, the slide deck that I showed here, and more. All right. And then you can see here on this quote from him. He says, I wanted to monetize and I didn't know exactly what to do. So I was like, I'm just going to launch a product, just Hail Mary and see what happens. And it was funny. I only had like 500 newsletter subscribers. And it was like, I know, talk to friends and they were like, that's not a lot of subscribers. Don't expect a lot of money, or sorry, don't expect 5 figures or anything like that. Okay. So even he had the same misconception. He thought, even though his list was tiny, that it was not going to be worth trying to make money. And that's just not true. You can make money with the right strategy and the right product and the right niche. With just a few hundred subscribers, you've seen 2 people who have proven you can start from nothing and make 5 figures from just a tiny little mailing list. All right. And then here, I'm going to come back on screen. And so these steps are the exact steps that I would take to build a brand new business using email. And I highly recommend that you rewatch this video. There's other trainings that I've been mentioning of how to do some of the steps that I covered. Again, I'll put all that in the description down below. And if you want the notes from this video, you want the deck and all the information, just subscribe to the free newsletter. It's absolutely free. And you can find that at pushbutton.ai/subscribe. And talking about subscribe, the other thing you'll want to do is, if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, look down below. You'll see a red subscribe button. Give it a click, because we release content like this all the time. And I would love to see you in one of my next videos. And I'm always doing live hangouts. So if you'd like to hang out live with me and ask me questions about how to implement these strategies, we can certainly do that. But the other thing I would ask you to do is like this video if you got value, and drop a comment down below. The YouTube algorithm loves comments, and I will be answering all your questions. So if you have any questions about email marketing, questions about how to execute this strategy, or how it applies to you and your unique situation, ask those questions in the chat down below, or just give me a big old howdy. Give me a howdy in the chat below for the YouTube algorithm. And on that, we're going to wrap up today's video. I really appreciate for you hanging out with me to this point, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. And live audience, I'm obviously not going anywhere. That's for the recorded video. Cool. Let me move some windows around. Fantastic. And producer Nick, are you with us here? I think you'll have to bring yourself back in. There you are.
Hello.
Hey. So we're going to be doing a round of Q&A. So I would like, so producer Nick, if you can keep an eye on the chat panel, and audience, if you have any questions about the content that I just covered, you can go ahead and ask that now in the chat. And also a bit later, we'll just open it up to any questions at all. And I can do site critiques. I can take a look at your pages, your social media presence, your videos, whatever it is that I can look at and help you with and give you some constructive feedback. I can do that. Or you maybe need some help getting traffic or building your first sales page, whatever it might be, you can ask me those questions too, and we'll answer all the unrelated questions just a little bit. And what I'm going to do right now, we're going to take a very quick commercial break, and we will be right back with all of your questions and some more content. So we'll see you in just a minute.
The presidents, celebrities, or characters in this video are all fake and generated by artificial intelligence.
You know, the other day while I was resting my eyes, I woke up to find that I'd built an entire online business.
Really, Joe? How'd you manage to do that?
Well, you see,
Wait a minute, Sleepy Joe. Let me guess. You had PushButton AI do all the work, didn't you?
That's right, Donald. It found me a fantastic domain name, built out a complete site, set up my shopping cart so I can get paid, and even wrote an entire email sales campaign for me, all while I was napping.
Well, I've been using PushButton AI too. And believe me, my new business, it's huge. The best. So much winning, you wouldn't believe.
This PushButton AI sounds phenomenal.
Oh, it is. It's almost as genius as I am.
But with better hair, no doubt.
Guys, all this talk is boring to me. What everyone needs to do is click the link of this video and go to the masterclass to see how to use this powerful technology to build their own profitable online business.
Well, if Elon says it, it must be worth a shot.
You're right, Barry. Everyone should click the link right now.
I can't believe I'm going to agree with Joe, but this masterclass sounds like it's going to be huge. Absolutely terrific. The best masterclass ever given, probably.
Okay, guys, how about we hit that link? Time is money.
Okay, we should be back. Little technical hiccup there. YouTube is also pushing out some ads, and so YouTube ad break is occurring, and we'll be right to your questions in just a moment. Let me just check this. Okay. All right, good. Sorry for that short little technical hiccup. Producer Nick, are you there?
I am.
Do we have any questions?
We do. Did you want to kick it to AMA and take up all questions, or do you just want to, or do you want to start with topical questions?
Let's start with topical ones if you can save them up that way. Yeah. If that works for you, that's probably better.
Okay. So Cowboy wants to Cowboy says, "Show me how to do this in the wedding niche."
Okay, awesome. And so when you say in the wedding niche, so what would you sell in the wedding niche? Okay, so are you looking at like as a how to be a wedding planner, how to plan your own wedding, how do you there's like different angles and elements of how you would do that. So it depends a little bit. So that was part of that whole Ikigai exercise that I talked about, right? So you want to get really clear exactly what part of that niche you're going to be serving. And then that's where the 10 PGB comes in, right? So 10 problems that that market is experiencing, the goals that they want to achieve, and then the benefits that they want to experience at the end. Like you want to get really clear on that and write them up, okay? And make sure you have notes on exactly what those things are. And so I think that's probably step one, is to get super clear on that. So when you say the wedding niche, it could be, or niche, it could be a couple of different angles. Then once you have established exactly what the angle is and who exactly are you serving, then you come up with that 10 PGB and then just execute the project just exactly as I laid out in this video, right? So there's some starting steps. I hope that helps answer your question. But if you've got a follow-up, you can ask more questions and we'll come back to you. Next question.
All right. And not a question, but a comment. Anthony says, Parker's gross numbers correlate with that $44 per subscriber metric I'm always hearing about.
Yeah, I think, the big thing to look at is when it comes to a launch, right? So in those two case studies of the small lists, you'll notice what they did is they built up their list and they worked at just getting rapport with their list, and they, established that relationship with their list. And then they did a promotion as a timed launch promotion. So they did a burst of activity. And that's the key on why they got the numbers that they got. If you tried to sell, drip sell just a little bit at a time and spread it out, you probably could make a similar number, but it would just be spread out. So the thing that made those numbers so impressive is they condensed it, right? So they condensed it down where they were able to make that, that profit in a short period of time. And that's with a launch style promotion. So what typically in a launch promotion you would do is you have a warm-up phase where you warm your list up and get them prepared for the launch of a new thing. Then you do a cart open, and then and by the way, through a launch, you mail aggressively. So you're going to mail absolute minimum once a day for probably a good 2 weeks through this whole sequence, right? Warm up, launch it, and then you go through a phase where you launch, you keep talking about the launch, and then you close the launch where you literally shut down the product and stop selling it so that there's urgency and scarcity. They need to have a reason to buy right now, okay? So that was how they pulled off those numbers that you saw in that case study. And again, I'll give you more information about this. If you're a subscriber to our Ingeniosity newsletter, you'll get more info about this whole thing and learn a little more how it works. But that's essentially what I did. I waited a lot longer. So I didn't do my first launch until my list was kind of a little bit bigger. We had a few thousand subscribers before I launched my very first product to them. So I just worked for, I took my time. I wasn't in a hurry. So I worked for a good 6 months, just building a list, building rapport, providing value, giving them content. And then boom, I hit them with a launch promotion. I think we had around 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers at that point. And of course, by the time we were at the year mark, I had 5,000 subscribers. And then that's where things really took off from there. And so I leveraged that list that I built for free. It cost me nothing to build those 5,000 subscribers. I didn't spend any money on ads. It was all organic, all free. And then I leveraged that 5,000 person list to build, we built a 7 and then an 8-figure business out of that list. So, and now it's $500,000 in size at this day.
Wow.
Next question.
Okay, now we're on to the general questions.
All right.
And Chris wants to know if you use Pinterest.
Pinterest, yes, can be very good. Producer Nick, I know you've done a little bit of experimentation there. You've even tried some Pinterest ads, but it depends on the niche. Some do much better than others on Pinterest. I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but they do have a kind of more female dominant audience there. And niche markets that would do well to females and that are maybe a little more mass market friendly can do super well there. That being said, I've seen people have success with like make money offers even on Pinterest. But yeah, it's a good place to go for as a content channel. Pinterest is a good one.
Great. So here's a comment. They say, "Hi, Bill. I'm going to use ChatGPT to act like an expert who builds landing pages. Then get it to build a high converting one for me and provide me with the HTML code."
That can totally work. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, and then one of the things I'll do too, just a quick little plug for PushButton AI. I talk about it all the time, so you guys probably all know about it. Anybody here not know what PushButton AI is? I'm curious. Give me a me in the chat. If you're somebody who's with us here live and you're not sure, maybe you heard of it, but you're not quite sure what it is, or maybe you've never heard of it at all, but you don't really have a good idea of exactly what it is. Give me a me in the chat. I'm very curious about that, about who might not know what PushButton AI is exactly. Give me a me in the chat. And don't worry, don't be shy. Don't be worried. I'm not going to call you out or try to force you to buy it or something. I'm just genuinely curious about who might not be familiar with what it is. Okay, there's some me's. Okay, they're coming in. Okay, good. Okay, thank you for answering that. I appreciate it. Yeah, PushButton AI, it's a whole AI business building system is basically it. As opposed to most other systems that you chatting back and forth with a chat bot, like the example we just talked about, someone's going to talk to ChatGPT and get help, launching their landing page. Instead of doing that, what we do is we have a completely different solution, and you come in and you'll literally answer just 2 questions. If you can answer these 2 questions, who do you want to serve? Like, who do you want to sell stuff to, or who do you want to help? And how do you want to help them? If you can answer those 2 questions, it can literally build your whole business. It will create it'll find you a domain name. It'll find you an awesome domain name. It's really good at finding great domain names. It'll find you a domain name, make sure it's available, register it for you, set up your website, create a course. Like if you want to do a giveaway course, like you heard me talking about, it builds the entire thing, the whole thing. It creates it. Does video lessons for your course, audio lessons for your course. It can make your logo. It can do your blogging and content creation for you. It can create your sales pages, create your squeeze page. Like the person who wants to use ChatGPT to create your squeeze page, well, it just does all of that, publishes it online, installs your hosting, installs WordPress, installs all the plugins, configures all the plugins for you, puts the theme on for the look and feel, launches the website, and then it hands you the keys. So it's pretty amazing, actually. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, right now we're in early access. So that means that we're not publicly launched. And you have a chance where you can get into our early access program. And what I'd love to do is I'd love to have you join us on a Zoom call. We would jump on one-to-one and do a Zoom call with you and show you. We'll pull it up on screen and we get to play around. We can maybe show some examples and build a course together with you, like literally on screen, build your course out and kind of get started building a business, show you how it works. And then we can find out if it's a good fit for you to join our early access program. To do that, I'd recommend you head on over, go to pushbutton.ai/demo. And producer Nick, if you could pop that link for me into the chat, that would be awesome. You could put it out through me, hopefully. Just go to pushbutton.ai/demo. Now, you'll put your name and email address in. On the next page, there'll be a video from me, and you'll need to click a button to set up your time in the calendar. You'll need to book your appointment in the calendar. Otherwise, we can't do the demo. So make sure you do both steps. So subscribe, put your name and email address in, and then click and go through the process to schedule your appointment in the calendar. And then we can show you the tool, show you how it works, see if the early access program is a good choice for you and if it's a good fit. And then you can use the platform to literally do everything I just did in this, I talked about in this training. It can do almost all of it for you hands-free. So there you go, a little plug for our product, and there you go. And we'll go back to questions.
All right. Anthony says, question: what is the typical conversion rate for a solid email list?
Well, again, that varies. It's a funny question because I can't give you a one-size-fits-all answer, but let me give you some general ideas, okay? So a good responsive list, let's say that, it's a list you're sending broadcast messages to. Like that's how currently my list is mature. I've built it, and I'm sending now broadcast messages, and I mail fairly frequently. We mail daily usually. We will see anywhere from a low open rate on our emails is going to be around 20%. We can see an open rate as high as 40%, but that's kind of unusual. That's sort of the band that it falls in. And then what we find usually is about 10% of the people who open click. So you can kind of do the mental math on that. So you have 20 to 40% of the people will open. Usually 10% of the people who open will click. Sometimes it goes higher, could be 10 to 20. And then you could kind of run the numbers from that. But and then they'll click and go to the landing page. And that's a general idea of the kind of performance you might see. Now, yours could be lower, it could be higher, depends on your niche, depends on your relationship with the list, depends on how often you mail the list. There's a lot of variables. But for me, I mail pretty much daily, and that's the numbers that we see.
There was a case study. We've covered it a few times. It's that one case study where this guy made $104,000 with his 13,000 subscriber email list. And he had a high ticket product. It was about $1,000, and he got 100 students from his 13,000 member list. So that's like a 0.7% conversion rate for reference. I don't know how typical that is depending on the industry and what kind of offer you have, but that's an example.
Well, it's
I'll
tough
link
to
it, by
run
the way.
Yeah, it's tough to run the numbers that way because it's really a metric of how many clicks and how well his offer converted, right? Because if in a launch phase, you're mailing at least daily, and ideally on several key days, you could mail as many as 3 times in a single day. Like on cart open and cart close, you might mail 3 times. So you're aggressively mailing and driving lots of clicks to your landing page. And then it depends on how well that landing page converts, basically. But yeah, it's tough to try to put a dollar per subscriber number across niche markets because it varies so much, And lists have different phases as well. A list during a growth phase responds a little differently than a mature list like mine. I've had my mailing list for over a dozen years now. There are subscribers on my list who have been on it for 12 years. Of course, that list behaves very differently than a list that is very new and very fresh, and people are still learning who you are. And, so it varies a lot. But
all right.
And hey, does it look like, I think the camera is auto-focusing on the mic again instead of me. Do I look blurry on screen?
You do.
Let me see. Well, it's not. Okay, so is it auto? Did it focus on me or is it still blurry?
It's still blurry.
Huh. Okay, we'll have to figure out how to solve that. But yeah, it's focus is like right about where the microphone is. Oh, we're gonna have a blurry video this time. That's a bummer.
Damn.
All right. Next question.
Yeah, this one's from Pete. He says, "Hey, Bill, when you emailed me today about courses, I hope you didn't mind when I replied saying that I have created a video to promote my video courses, and I sent you my link with the promo video."
Well, that's going to go to my team, so I'll have to find out what happened to that. But I haven't seen that. Yeah, it from my main mailing list, when people reply, they usually end up. Although I think the Ingeniosity ones, do those end up going to you, Nick? I don't know where those go.
Yeah, they go to me.
Okay, so but I'll ask him to keep an eye out for that.
All right, I think we are caught up.
All right, fantastic. Cool. Well, I want to remind you that my purpose in life is to help entrepreneurs. It's something I decided some time ago, that I love entrepreneurs. It sounds weird, maybe. I don't know if that sounds odd, but people end up coming up with a mission in life. And for me, it's to serve entrepreneurs. I really believe that it is the entrepreneurs amongst us are the ones that drive our society forward. And I think if you look back through history, you'll see many examples of that being true. It is they think a little differently. They're a little more willing to take risk. They're a little more willing to be persistent and make things happen in the world. And certainly the economy is driven by the entrepreneurs. If it wasn't for us, people wouldn't have jobs and the economy wouldn't be growing and people couldn't support their families. And so my way of being able to contribute to the world, I think the place that I can have the most impact in the world personally is by helping entrepreneurs like you. So that's what this channel is all about. And every week we're doing more content and more effort to do that, just that, to help you with your business. Whether you're starting your first business, maybe you're a brand new entrepreneur, you haven't yet made your first money online, I want to help you. Or you might be a seasoned vet. We have people that have been very successful in their businesses that are on my subscriber list and that are customers of mine. And I want to help you too, because many of the same strategies that I can help brand new entrepreneurs with, I can help even seasoned vets. These tactics work universally. So if you want more training like this, make sure you're a subscriber. You'll see down below a link to become a subscriber, and you can be part of our little community that we're building here. We're on the big drive to hit 10,000 subs on the channel. This is a fairly new channel for me. We started it, I think we're going on almost a year about or so since we've really started focusing on this. I've had this YouTube channel just sort of sitting here with nothing on it. And producer Nick and I decided to try to build a channel around this some time ago. And we hope that we celebrate that big milestone of 10,000 subs together very soon. And I think producer Nick, I think you thought it would take longer than this. Like, I know we talked maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I don't think you expected the channel to grow so fast.
No, I thought it would be like a 20-mile march, like a crawl. I notice a lot of companies when they're growing their user base or they're growing their list or something, there's usually a very long crawl and then like an inflection point. Mm-hmm. And people call that quote unquote overnight growth, and no one sees the years it took for them to crawl to that inflection point. But I usually see that happen where it's like a year of a snail's pace growth, and then like overnight, like it looks like a hockey stick, like up and vertical. So that's what I was expecting.
Well, I mean, it is kind of what we got, actually. If you think about the early months of the channel, we were here consistently, doing, you've been working with the content team and making sure that 3 videos a week get published to the channel every week. We've done that for quite a long time. And yeah, the growth pace early on was pretty modest. It was very steady, but it was growing, but it was slow. And I knew, here's where I think most new entrepreneurs, fail, is they go through that initial phase, like you talked about, the long crawl, right? And I think that we underestimate, I think it's human nature to underestimate and be optimistic about, like our success. And I see so many new entrepreneurs, they'll start a new business or they'll start some new thing, and they're in that long crawl phase. And they haven't yet got to the point where the growth starts to go exponential. And for our channel, that is just beginning now. So I'd say like over the last 8 weeks, probably. Does that seem right, Nick?
Yeah.
So our growth curve has just started that exponential kick up. But we had to work at this for nearly a year to get it there. And I think for a lot of new entrepreneurs, they, at month 3, they'll go, this is not working. And then they'll get distracted by some shiny new opportunity. And then they close this and then they start something new. And I think they get stuck on a hamster wheel, going to nowhere. The internet marketing hamster wheel to nowhere. That's what I used to call it, because of that. And I think it's by understanding and hopefully by sharing our journey with everyone, so you guys can see that that's what it takes. Is you need to be in it for the long haul, and you need to be willing to be consistent for a long period of time before you begin to get traction. And that's especially true if you're trying to get like organic growth, right? Now, if you're doing paid growth and you have a large budget and you just want to throw advertising at something and you're just going to solve it with money, it can happen much faster. But that's not usually what most people want to do. Some people, like, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 of the people that we help is in a situation like that, where they're just willing to throw a lot of money at advertising and solve it that way. Then you can go like that. But when you are trying to do it with organic growth, you have to be, buckled in and prepared for the long haul. But so what I'd like to do now, I'm going to take one more quick commercial break and then come back with more questions. So if you have any questions at all about building a new business or growing your existing business, questions about how to get traffic. We've been focused very heavily on search engines the last couple of weeks. In fact, we did a big breakthrough video just yesterday on because of Google's secret document leaks, we now know exactly how to rank on Google. No more conspiracy theories or mysteries. We know exactly how to do it. And that's an example of some of the things that I can help you with. So maybe some of you saw that video and you have search engine questions, Google questions, whatever. Be prepared to pop them into the chat right now. And then when we get back from this quick commercial break, I'll answer all your questions. See you in just a moment.
You can now launch your own online business with the click of a mouse. Sounds crazy, right? Guess what? It's now possible thanks to our game-changing AI software that's helping beginners build a successful online business. If you have tried and failed at building an online business, or you've got no idea where to start, there is good news for you. We are entering a new exciting era of AI, and I'm here to teach you how to use it to build and grow an online business. Because I'm handing you a blueprint, a business in a box powered by AI, and it's called PushButton AI. Imagine a tool so smart it does all the heavy lifting for you. Builds an info product business, sets up hosting, launches the website, and even crafts engaging email sequences. Here's the thing. This isn't like anything else out there, and this is based on what's working right now. PushButton AI is based on my experience of generating over $100 million over the last 20 years and helping over 81,942 customers build and grow their own online businesses. If you'd like to find out more about this, register now and dive into my free live demo to uncover strategies and traffic tricks that will pivot your business and skyrocket your online business from surviving to thriving. Imagine what your life would look like today if you bought Bitcoin when it was $1. You now have the same opportunity with PushButton AI since nobody else is doing this. Don't miss out this time.
And we're back. So we have a YouTube ad break going on as well. So some of you are out in YouTube ad land, but you'll be right back. So we'll give it just a moment. And I want to let everybody know we're topping up at we're on for about an hour now. So we are going to be doing final round of questions very soon. So get your questions in now. Pop those into the chat. Also, I'd be very interested if there's any particular topics that you would like help with. Is there any unique problem that you're trying to solve as an entrepreneur in getting your business started or growing your business? I would like to know. It helps us understand what kinds of content we can deliver and what kind of training I should be preparing and getting ready for you. So let me know in the chat if there's any particular problems that you would like to overcome with your business. It could be as simple as you don't know where to start. That could be a pretty big problem, right? Or you don't know how to pick your niche. That could be a problem. You don't know how to run ads. You don't know how to get Google traffic, whatever that might be for you. What is your unique problem that you're facing right now you would like to overcome? I'd like to do a quick little survey in the chat and learn more about what that is for you. Again, I'm going to use that information so we can prepare future content. So before we get into the questions and the answers, we have our second AI dad joke of the day. So ChatGPT 4.0 has given me a dad joke. We're going to test it out. And here, we're going to do this backwards. So normally producer Nick rates my dad joke, but I would like you to rate it first. So please tell me out in chat land, in the chat, tell me on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being best, how does this dad joke rate? Here we go. Why did the astronaut break up with his girlfriend? He needed space.
Oh, okay.
Don't rate it yet. We're going to see. Don't influence the audience. We don't want the audience to be influenced by your rating. But audience, what do you give that from a 1 to a 1 is like a horrible groan, like it's really a bad dad joke. And then 10 would be like, yeah, it's funny. You would laugh. So give me a rating. How do you rate me on the, or technically, I guess you're rating ChatGPT and my delivery. So, okay, Angelo gives it an 8. Regina gives it a 4. May gives it a 5. Okay, a little mixed. Regina didn't like that one. Valerie gives it a 6. Okay. That one made me chuckle when I saw it. So solid 7.1 says the Mick. Thank you. That's about what I thought it was going to be. Producer Nick, what's your rating?
Yeah, I think that's like a soft 7. Like, I think the Mick is pretty spot on, solid 7.1. Maybe a 7.2.
All right. Yeah, Clara says it's a 7 as well. Okay.
It's at least better than the first one. I don't know why that first one I didn't like very much.
This one was kind of funny. So Rosemary says it made me laugh, so I give it an 8. Fantastic. Well, I like to keep this lighthearted, you know. One little other tidbit I want to pass on to everybody. And it's funny that what I'm about to say caused a bunch of controversy. It actually caused me to have to block someone on Facebook, what I'm about to say, surprisingly. But I have found that somehow, some way, you need to try to keep a lighthearted attitude about building your business. And sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes things can get frustrating. Things can, you're not getting results, or, you're building a business and then things go sideways and you're losing money. And it's easy to descend into frustration and other kind of negative emotion. And I find that the faster I can pop myself out of that and bounce back up and try to have a lighthearted, non-serious attitude about it, the more I win, the more I succeed. It's an interesting phenomenon. You get into the spiritual aspect of why that is. I don't know. But we won't do that today. But I find it nevertheless to be true. And I talked about this on Facebook some time ago. And I told people, don't be serious when it comes to business. And oh my gosh, it really set someone off. They attacked me for saying that. But
where is this?
Huh?
Where was this? Was this in a Facebook group? Or?
Yeah, it was on Facebook. It was on my Facebook profile, and they attacked me on the profile some time ago. Yeah, so I ended up having to block the person, and then I ended up deleting the whole thing. But it really went off the rails. But I still find it to be true, and even to this day, I've had a lot of success online. 20 years of doing this, I've had some amazing, sky high successes. And I've had some pretty spectacular failures as well, in terms of making a lot of money, losing a lot of money, making it again. And I think most really successful entrepreneurs have a similar experience. I know several people that you would know in the internet marketing kind of business and entrepreneurial space who are very successful, and they have had some spectacular failures. I know guys that have some kind of household names that have gone through basically bankruptcy. They maybe didn't file, but they were so close, and now they're a household marketing name. So it is not uncommon, and I think I think people will look at someone like me and go, well, it's easy for you to be upbeat about it because you're going through all this success. And I'll tell you, I have successes and I have failures just like anyone else. And it is by staying upbeat and staying persistent. That's the key. Persistence, I'm telling you, is the key to success. And that's kind of what gets me through. So, all right, enough about that. Let's go to the questions. And we'll do our final round of Q&A. So get those questions in and we'll answer them. And then we're going to wrap up for the day.
I have a question for you. I heard this quote somewhere, and I feel bad because I don't remember where. I can't attribute it to anyone.
Yeah.
But the quote was basically, you don't lose or fail until you give up. And until you actually give up, that's when you've lost. But until then, and if you persist, you haven't lost yet.
It's true. You're still in the game. If you're still trying to succeed, if you're still working towards success, you're still in the game. You have not failed. And that's true. And the funny thing is, it's all based on a decision, ultimately. I mean, when you, in your mind, consider you failed and you consider you can't do it, or you consider it can't be done, or it's not going to work, the moment you make that decision, that is when you failed.
Yeah. Oh, I have a question for the audience. So I sent out an issue of Ingeniosity yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the question, and a few people responded. And I asked, would anybody be interested if we gave webinar training? Because you make a lot of money through webinars. And if we gave the training on how to make a bang up, good job webinar that made a lot of money. And a few people responded and they said, yes, I would like to receive that training. And I was wondering if the YouTube chat, if you guys wanted to know how to make a webinar that made you money, if that interested you at all.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. And this may be my own preconceived ideas. I personally had the thought that a lot of our audience are newer entrepreneurs. Not everyone is a seasoned, experienced marketer. And they might think that delivering webinars might be too hard, but so I could be wrong. I'm totally willing to be incorrect about this. So maybe producer Nick can prove me wrong. But I would like to know, if there is a big interest in that, and it is. I have sold tens of millions of dollars worth of products on webinars. And I have an unconventional way of doing them it's quite a bit different than I think most other people teaching it would tell you how to do a webinar. But yeah, if you're interested in that, let us know. Say, yeah, I want webinar training in the chat. Let producer Nick know. If there is enough interest, then he may convince me to do it. But I've been resistant because I thought that a lot of people would not be interested because they would consider that it was too hard, like the bar is too high to do a webinar. But yeah, let us know.
All right. Well, while we wait for people to respond and see if they're interested or not, I'll get to some of the questions. And this one's from Cut Loose, and he says, how do you build a mailing list with non-email users / social media generation or Snapchat customers or TXT people?
So help me understand the question here, Nick. Maybe if I'm understanding it right, it's how do you build an email list from those sources? Is that right?
He says, how do you build a mailing list with non-email users? So I guess how do you convince them to jump onto your list if they're not active?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the answer. You have to convince them to become an email user, right? You have to convince them to go to your website and put in their email address. And that's a big part of the training that we just did was about that's the lead magnet. If you remember in the training, I talked about the lead magnet. That lead magnet, which I'd say you should make a course, right? That should be your lead magnet, needs to be compelling enough that they will give you their email address. They'll put in, they'll go to a website They'll put in their name and email and they'll join. A prime example is right here on the channel. You heard me when I was recording the video. I said, hey, if you would like my slides, the show notes, and all the data about, the content, then go subscribe to my email newsletter. And I said, go to pushbutton.ai/subscribe. So you could do that right now as an example. And if you subscribe for free, I'll give you all this stuff, right? So you have to have a compelling reason to get someone to leave, whether it's Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You have to give them a good enough reason to leave that platform and go give you their email address. And that's how you do it.
All right. Okay, this is from Lisa. She says, how do you know what will work for you? Webinar? Ebook? Many people who are starting out may not know where to start with what product.
Start using what I just gave you, the training that we just did today. That's where you should start, right? And so start building your list. And then once you start to get subscribers, now you're ready for the next step. Okay? But first, get a presence in a market. Get a website established. Get some content out there. Get a Facebook page set up and start getting your content plan. So what I would say is to rewind after we're off live. You can rewind this video and watch that section of the training. You can rewind it and watch that section. We're also going to release some training on the channel that'll teach you how to do this, but go through that training and implement it. That's what I would do to start. The advice I gave in that training, it was not just for an interesting video. It's because it's the truth. It's what I would literally do if I were starting from scratch, or if producer Nick came to me after the show and wanted to know how to start a brand new business, I would give him the same exact advice as what we gave in that video. So there you go.
All right. Okay.
Oh, Lisa missed it. So Lisa, YouTube will let you rewind and rewatch this once we're off live. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question from Angelo. He says, do your techniques work for local businesses?
They can. I mean, a local business, like if you have a bricks and mortar retail kind of business, I would adjust that slightly, but yes, they still can work. I'm a big believer that every business should be giving away a course. That sounds funny, but I mean, heck, even I believe even a car dealership should be giving away a course. You have a tropical fish store, you should be giving away a course. So a lot of the training I gave would fit that scenario. But for a local business, there's a few extra steps because you're going to want to focus on things like Google Maps and Google My Business. You'll want to focus on Yelp, things like that. So there are some modifications I would make for a local business, some additions, but the basic strategy would remain. Yeah.
Would you recommend for beginners who either own a local business or they're helping a local business, would you recommend that they try local SEO?
Yes, I definitely. Yeah, if you have a local business where you're serving the people that literally have to walk into your store in a region, then you want to do what's called local SEO. And the first step of that is to just get listed in Google. It's called Google My Business. You want to get listed in there. That's the very first step. And you want to get listed in Yelp as another step. And it's more to get into in just a quick Q&A session, but that's how I would start. Yeah.
Got it. Well, I'm curious, would you guys be interested if we did content on local SEO? Because I'm doing a lot of YouTube keyword research, and local SEO looks like a promising keyword. There's also some AI stuff you can do with local SEO.
Well, local SEO, the beauty of it too is it's easier than, if I'm trying to rank like nationally or globally for terms, it's so much harder than ranking locally. It's easy. It's much easier to rank locally.
Cool. because I'm personally interested in local SEO, and I kind of want to talk about it. So if I get the audience's blessing, maybe we can do some content on that. Okay, Clara has a good question.
Mm-hmm.
My friend is involved in an MLM business. She's inquiring on how to use your platform.
Well, in an MLM business, you need to attract leads, right? So if you're doing network marketing, you need leads of people to sell the network marketing product or opportunity to them. And there's no better way than building a course business that you can give away to get leads. So PushButton AI is perfectly suited for that. So I'd recommend, and if they really want to understand that and know how they should be doing that, then just book a demo. So have them go to pushbutton.ai/demo. And producer Nick, can you pop that link out again for me? But go to pushbutton.ai/demo, and then have them book in there. Make sure they go in the calendar and pick a time in the calendar. And then someone can just show them. They'll just pull it up on screen. They'll show them exactly how it would work, what they would do. In fact, right now we have a big push on finding businesses that want leads. So, and talking about local businesses, that's one of the markets we're going after. So people like local chiropractors and cosmetic dentists and people that are doing different things in the health or other service industries. They should be doing these free course giveaways to get leads for their business. And we're doing a big drive to get a lot of people in businesses like that using PushButton AI. And then another one would be consultants. Another one is, like you're saying, network marketing is an industry that we can really help with. So we have a big push right now trying to find businesses that are looking for leads, and we're going to help them use PushButton AI to get leads and grow their business. Cool.
All right. Lisa says, so if you give a free webinar, then what would you charge for? How does a free webinar become monetized?
Well, when we're throwing around the word webinar, it usually means that you're selling something. Okay. So typically a webinar is designed to be, it's usually a 60 to 90 minute presentation. Usually it has some content and then it has a pitch. So it's there's 3 phases to a webinar. So you bring people in and introduce them, warm them up to you and the idea behind your product. You deliver some useful content, and then you pitch your product as a solution that can help them with that. And that's, so when you hear us referring to a webinar, that's typically the format we're talking about.
Awesome. Okay, Rosemary says, I am looking for leads for my internet business. I work with 2 sites, 1,800 leads in one and 180 in another.
Are you a PushButton customer, Rosemary? I think, I don't remember. I think you are. If not, you should book a demo too.
Angelo says, and this is when you were talking about keeping a positive attitude and being consistent with it. He says, your approach will keep you healthy and you will be a winner.
Yeah, I mean, health is a big part of that. It's so easy to start a downward spiral that it's tough to get out of, Like if people get very emotional about building a business. It sounds funny, but it's a very kind of like aspirational, personal thing when you're building your business, especially for the first time. And you're very excited and invested in the success of that business. And then when things get tough and success doesn't come overnight, it's easy to start doubting yourself. Like, am I doing this right? Am I good enough? Have I messed it up? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And then you might get exterior negative feedback. You might have a spouse or a family member or a friend who's like, what are you doing that for? You're wasting your time. Producer Nick, I know you have experienced this from more than one person, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's your own internal chatter about why you might fail, or whether it's the external. The minute you engage that and start this downward spiral, you're really cutting your odds of success. You're really, really lowering those odds of success, because the lower you go on that spiral, the closer you get to deciding, I failed, I quit, and then you have failed. So it's really, really important to prevent that and to reverse it when you find it in yourself, because, let's face it, building a business, especially your first business, is not easy. Despite what others might tell you, it is not a thing where, I know my product's called PushButton AI, right? Because I make AI push button simple. But some people will give you the false idea that building a business is push button simple, like in terms of like, you can't push a button and then like some magic wand waves and money starts raining from the ceiling out of a portal, right? It just doesn't work that way. And you need to be willing and able to, push through. Okay, enough on that. Any other questions?
I'm just combing through all the messages again because I really don't want to miss anyone. Okay, yeah, I missed one. This is from Dallas Cowboy, and he says, where do beginners start?
I would say as a beginner, this video we just recorded is a good place. So I would take if you take this video along with the other lessons that I reference in the video on the channel, it is almost like a masterclass on starting a new business. Okay. So you could go through the training that I just gave you and then watch the other videos related to each section, so you don't get, confused about like how to do the 10 PGB, right? The 10 problems, goals, and benefits that your market has. We talked about how to pick the right niche market. Go watch the video on that. And literally everything you need to launch your first business exists here on this channel for free. But I would rewind this video and use the training from today as like your home base, your starting place, and then implement. Do the steps that we said. If you get stuck or confused, come back to the Wednesday shows and ask me questions. So that would be a good place to start. And of course, if it makes sense, if you want to try PushButton AI to make that process go faster, talk to one of my teams, schedule a demo, and find out if that's a good solution for you. But by no means do you need to pay me to get help. So you can use the channel, come back to Q&A, and we will help you.
Awesome. So this one's from Aaron. He says, hey, Mr. McIntosh, my name is Aaron. My situation is complicated, to say the least. I've had to freeze my credit thanks to my ex, so I'm limited on funds. How do I get started with little to no cash?
Well, I'll tell you, you can do it. Now, will it be easy? No, it will be harder with little to no cash, but you can do it. And there's case study after case study of people who succeed without that investment. I told you that first list I built in the internet marketing space, I built for free. I think I spent, obviously I needed a domain name, so I had to register a domain name. I had to get WordPress installed to have a website. Okay. I had to do a lot of research myself to set up WordPress. So you'll either need to do that research to set up WordPress, or you'll need to, hire an expert. There are people you can hire on Fiverr for probably like $10. They'll do it. They'll set up your WordPress site for you. You need to be willing to learn and clear up confusion. You're going to run into new terminology. Make sure you define those words and look them up, and make sure you understand everything you're reading. And then, implement, again, the training from today and the other trainings on this channel. And you can make it work. Certainly with a very, very low budget, it will take longer. It'll be a little more frustrating, but it can be done. Cool. What else we got?
I just realized I was muted.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Lisa has some follow-up because she was asking you about webinars. She has a few messages, so I'll just read them together. She says, webinar, quote unquote, product is what you are giving in content that is a part of your product. So the webinar should be more general information, product more detailed, ? Correct? Hopefully you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like you're asking me to start the training on how to do webinars today. So there's a little more to it to kind of properly explain this. So if we do a webinar training, then we'll talk more about it. But think about it this way, okay? The goal, the end, like I start with my end goal in mind. If my end goal of my webinar is to sell product X, right? So let's say I want to sell this mug on my webinar, okay? Let's say it's a magic mug that makes coffee taste delicious. I don't know. That's my goal. That's why I'm making the webinar. I start from that point and I work backwards, which is a little different than almost anyone else is going to tell you how to do it. I work backwards in a chain of decisions of what does a person need to know and what does a person need to decide in order to come to a point where they go, oh, I want that mug and I'm willing to pay you for it, right? And so what does that look like, right? So at the beginning, it might be some information about me and why I'm an expert at coffee, or why, if I'm not an expert, why I have coffee mugs. Maybe I love coffee so much that I spent 2 years researching how to make a coffee mug that makes coffee taste delicious, right? So beginning, that's why you have those intros. You see people will often tell like rags to riches stories, and you see their mansions and all that stuff, right? It's like storytelling about the person. So you have to introduce yourself and why you're somebody that they should listen to about coffee and delicious coffee mugs. And so then once they know you're somebody worth listening to, what's the next thing that they need to know in order to arrive at the point where they desire a coffee mug like that, right? So maybe we do a little bit of training about the different types of coffee. And here are the 3 most delicious kinds of coffee, okay? And so then we might show how expensive these 3 delicious types of coffees are. Like maybe we talk about civet coffee. Do you guys know what civet coffee is? Let's see if anybody knows. Nick, do you know? Oh, I think you're muted.
I am. Yeah, I think I know, but I want to see if the audience knows first.
Okay, so yeah, let's see who knows what civet coffee is. So then let's say we do some content about how expensive gourmet coffee is, right? So I'm introducing a problem to them. And then I introduce my mug. So I might then go into like, hey, but did you know what? I researched a way where you can take cheap, ordinary Folgers coffee off the supermarket shelf and make it taste like civet coffee that would cost you $100 a cup. And then I would get into describing my mug, why it's so awesome, why they should use it, why it's safe, why it's going to save them like $1,000 a year to get gourmet coffee when, and then I make my pitch, right? So that's generally the flow of how you would do a webinar. So there's a masterclass condensed into 2 minutes. There you go.
All right. Then Lisa had a follow-up. She said, how do you go from a free product X to have them buy more of X?
It's a lot simpler than I think most people realize. You just sell them more X. There's no magic, right? It's really interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon to me that if people buy things from you, they will buy more of the same things from you. It's a weird, it's counterintuitive. It's a weird thing of human nature. And this is true about your relationship with your list over long periods of time. It's also true in like short sales funnels, right? So I'll use my coffee mug as an example. If I sold my delicious magic coffee mug for whatever, $49.95, okay? And then you buy it, and then guess what? You get an upsell. What am I going to upsell you? A second magic coffee mug for half off. And you'll take it. Or many, I shouldn't say you, I won't pick on you, but most people will just take another coffee mug, right? And the same thing is true of other products and other services. And people will often pay for more detailed information. They'll pay for information that makes it happen faster. So if you have a free course on something or a free training about something, then how about charging them for a way to do it faster, a way to do it bigger, right? A way to do it in specific situations that they might be having, right? That's doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Yeah,
Okay.
people will always buy more of the same thing from you.
Tika guessed what the civet coffee is.
Yeah, so you want to tell everybody?
She says, is it the bean that goes through an animal? Or maybe it was a bird and gets pooped out?
That is the one. Yeah, a civet is like a ferret kind of animal, basically. Like think of think of a ferret that eats coffee beans and then, that eats the coffee fruit and then poops out the beans. So it's, we used to call it cat poop coffee. So, all right. With this, we're going to be wrapping up. So I do have a question for the audience. And then Nick, no more questions. So we'll lock questions at this point. So any questions that have been already asked, I'll answer them. But the questions are now locked. Okay. And so I want to ask a question of you, the audience. Who here has not seen our training on ranking in Google about the secret document leak and the training in Google on how to rank on Google page 1? Let me know. Give me a not yet in the chat. Say not yet in the chat right now if you have not yet seen my training, released yesterday, by the way, if that helps you understand, was released yesterday. And it's all about how to rank on page 1 of Google, but it's based on the leak. So there was a massive document leak that has been confirmed true. It's all about exactly how Google ranks websites. So in the past, guys like me had to do lots of experiments and trial and error to try to then learn what works. And then I would teach others about what I found. But now we know definitively, no more conspiracy theories, no more guessing games. And we actually caught Google lying about several things. So I go into that in great detail. But give me a not yet in the chat if you have not yet seen that. And then producer Nick, do you have one of those special links to point to that video?
I got to make one real quick.
Okay, so get that ready. So I'm going to share a link with you in just a couple of minutes. So we'll finish answering questions and then we'll share a link with you to watch that video. I highly recommend you watch it. It's a video that's doing pretty well on the channel right now, getting a lot of views, a lot of attention. And I'd like to help keep that video going. So get some momentum going. So if you watch it, give it a good watch. There's some great information. Give us a like and especially drop me a comment on that video. So we're going to be sharing the link to it in just a moment. Be sure you drop me some comments. Ask me SEO questions. I want to know your biggest question about how to rank in Google. And if you want more, you want to learn about local SEO, local rankings in Google, ask me that too. But pop those in the comments. So I'm going to go through the comments later today, and I'm going to go in there and I'll be answering all of the questions. So ask me any specific SEO or local SEO questions in the comments of that video, and we'll be popping that in. Oh, looks like you already got it out there. Great. So you can check that out. I'm going to pin that comment for everybody. I got to go over in the studio. Let's do this. Pin. Okay. Message pinned. And then are there any other questions we need to answer, producer Nick, before we head out of here?
We have a few. So Lisa, she's following up on your conversation about webinars.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, actually, it's not. Things resonate with us. Comprehension is after 3 repeat times of hearing, reading, or practicing something. So it actually makes sense.
Yeah, I like that perspective on it. I agree. I agree. I mean, it's funny. I think that a lot of people overlook this, right? In marketing, especially. I've seen people that will use email lists for a moment. Maybe they have an offer to sell something, and they'll send one email to their list, and they don't get any purchases, or maybe they get one purchase, and then they'll come to me and go, "Oh, this doesn't work." And then I'll go back to them and go, "No, email them 7 more times," right? And then they do that. It's like, "Oh, look at that! I got 20 sales," right? But it's that repetition, and I can't agree with Lisa more on. It takes a lot of repetition to get a person to fully understand and also commit, make decisions, and buy something. It can take, I've seen studies that it could take up to 21 touch points with a potential customer before they buy from you. So I think the same thing exists, post-purchase. Same thing, just sell them more of the same thing after purchase, and it's also that repetition concept. So awesome. Next.
Yes. Anthony says, can quality affiliate sites rank in light of the Google leak?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and you'll learn more about it in the video. So go watch that video and it'll explain. But there's a lot of false information and rumors. And really, in that video, I strip it bare to the core of what causes a site to rank. But if you have what they would call, Google would call it a thin affiliate site, a site with little to no value or content, and you're just promoting other stuff, that's going to be tough. You might be able to get temporary rankings, but long-term rankings will be difficult. But I go into exactly how you could rank an affiliate site all day long. Yeah.
Cool. Tracy has a question. Say, I'm new here. I'm new to your YouTube videos, and there are many. Is there an index or table of contents of how to go through the videos to find what to watch and when?
We don't really have an index. I mean, that might be useful, Producer Nick. I mean, maybe we could put one on, whether we put it on Ingeniosity or we could put it on my blog, but we could try to maybe get a list of of 15 or 20 videos and kind of make a little index of topics.
Yeah, I've thought about doing. You know what? I should do that, and it'd be really easy to do. Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's tough to keep it updated. That's the difficult thing is, we put out so much content. There's new stuff every week, and it'll be tough to keep it updated. But maybe we can at least put one out that's useful as of now anyway.
Yes. Okay. Tiha says, here's a quick question. Where do I find the training for changing the sidebar on my PushButton AI course, if you could remember offhand?
That's a good question for support. There's a wide variety of training about how to use your WordPress site. But I would refer that to support. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I know they're in our hosting site in Profit Platform, our hosting company. There's a bunch of how-to training in there. It might be there, so you could look in there under how-to. And if you don't find it, just check with support. But I don't remember offhand where that's at.
Okay. Cut loose. Just an FYI, we're live. We're talking to you live. This isn't a pre-recorded video. Just so everyone's aware. But I think that's all the questions we have to address.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. So cut loose. Why did you think we're not here? That's interesting. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's at this point, we called last call for questions a few minutes ago. So we are going to be wrapping things up. I'm going
to pop the link in again.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely check out the training on how to rank page 1 with Google. Yeah, we had last call for questions already. And wow, somehow we snuck up. We're almost at 2 hours on live. So we're going to wrap things up. Go check out that video. Please ask me, if nothing else, just drop a comment and say howdy in the chat, in the comments of that video. Then I'll at least know that you popped over there. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm. So you can give us a big hello, a howdy. But more importantly, what I would really love is after you've watched the video, ask me any search engine questions you might have. If you want to rank in Google or any other search engine, ask those questions in the comments of that video. I'm going to go back in there in a couple hours. I'll answer your questions, and including local SEO. We talked about that a bit today. So if you have local SEO questions about how to rank your business locally, pop those in there too. And that's the video that we just linked in the chat. Go watch it and check it out. And we'll, I'll be in there hanging out in just a little bit, answering questions. And with that, we're going to wrap up for today. So producer Nick, thanks so much yet again for your help today. And for the audience, I am so glad you hung out with me today. I had fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Make sure you subscribe. You'll see the subscribe button down below. Subscribe so you can come back and get notified when we're live next time. And with that, I'm going to go to commercial break, but we're going to be wrapping up the show. So we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Those of you who are not yet a PushButton AI customer, then you need to check this out. And all you need to do is go to pushbutton.ai/demo, pushbutton.ai/demo, and you can get a live one-on-one appointment to get on Zoom and see this powerful technology in action. And with PushButton AI, it will build an entire business from bottom to top. Everything you need, from your domain name to your logo to videos to audio lessons, an entire course that you can sell as your own, a 30-day email sequence that it writes. You can send a daily email for 30 days, all written by AI, and a whole lot more. It writes your sales page. If you're not sure how to write an expert sales page to convince people to buy stuff, it writes it for you. It writes a free report that you can give away to get subscribers to your list. It even creates and writes the opt-in subscription page to get people to subscribe to get the free report. And it goes on and on and on. It even writes your first 10 blog posts for you, and it can do so much more. Social media posts, ads, all of these things are done, and all you have to do is answer a couple of questions and push a button. Now, PushButton AI is not available to the public at the time of recording this video. And the only way to get in is by invite to our behind-the-scenes beta access. And during your live demo, we'll show you the technology. We'll actually work with you to actually map out an entire course that you could sell as your own. We'll outline the course with you together on the one-on-one Zoom call. And then if you so decide, if you're a good fit, you can come in, join our PushButton AI beta program, and be in business with that very course by the next day. Go to pushbutton.ai/demo to figure out if this powerful technology is right for you. You can register there. You'll book an appointment in the calendar. Be sure you show up. Our team will be very excited to meet you and show you how the tech works, outline your new course for you. And hopefully it's a fit and we can work together to launch your next business.
The presidents, celebrities, or characters in this video are all fake and generated by artificial intelligence.
You know, the other day while I was resting my eyes, I woke up to find that I'd built an entire online business.
Really, Joe? How'd you manage to do that?
Well, you see,
Wait a minute, Sleepy Joe. Let me guess. You had PushButton AI do all the work, didn't you?
That's right, Donald. It found me a fantastic domain name, built out a complete site, set up my shopping cart so I can get paid, and even wrote an entire email sales campaign for me, all while I was napping.
Well, I've been using PushButton AI too. And believe me, my new business, it's huge. The best. So much winning, you wouldn't believe.
This PushButton AI sounds phenomenal.
Oh, it is. It's almost as genius as I am.
But with better hair, no doubt.
Guys, all this talk is boring to me. What everyone needs to do is click the link of this video and go to the masterclass to see how to use this powerful technology to build their own profitable online business.
Well, if Elon says it, it must be worth a shot.
You're right, Barry. Everyone should click the link right now.
I can't believe I'm going to agree with Joe, but this masterclass sounds like it's going to be huge. Absolutely terrific. The best masterclass ever given, probably.
Okay, guys, how about we hit that link? Time is money.
You know you can now launch your own online business with the click of a mouse? Sounds crazy, right? Guess what? It's now possible thanks to our game-changing AI software that's helping beginners build a successful online business. If you have tried and failed at building an online business, or you've got no idea where to start, there is good news for you. We are entering a new exciting era of AI, and I'm here to teach you how to use it to build and grow an online business. Because I'm handing you a blueprint, a business in a box powered by AI, and it's called PushButton AI. Imagine a tool so smart it does all the heavy lifting for you. Builds an info product business, sets up hosting, launches the website, and even crafts engaging email sequences. Here's the thing. This isn't like anything else out there, and this is based on what's working right now. PushButton AI is based on my experience of generating over $100 million over the last 20 years and helping over 81,942 customers build and grow their own online businesses. If you'd like to find out more about this, register now and dive into my free live demo to uncover strategies and traffic tricks that will pivot your business and skyrocket your online business from surviving to thriving. Imagine what your life would look like today if you bought Bitcoin when it was $1. You now have the same opportunity with PushButton AI since nobody else is doing this. Don't miss out this time.